Are you really wanting to love yourself more and you just feel very disconnected from who you are and your own relationship with yourself? Maybe look for a little bit of validation from other people. Totally been there. And we're going to talk about this today. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. As always, if you want to connect with me more on social media, you can find my links in the show notes below as well. I was, just sitting, reflecting, and after hearing some things, I always listen to my growth stuff, like usually Peter Sage, Peter Joseph McClendon, and my sales training stuff, which is a lot of psychology and mindset stuff in it as well, which is great. It like really, really hit me as to, for me, why I hadn't loved myself in the past. And having spoke to other people and even coached in this area, like it became very transparent why people do not love themselves enough. And it's a very simple concept that people may find a little bit triggering, but I'm going to say it because I believe it's my truth. You don't put the effort in to love yourself enough. People don't love themselves because they do not put the effort in, right? I've found that many times. It's like, I don't love me. The effort I was putting in when I've not loved me would be like going out and drinking, flushing away my feelings. That's a very bad. I'm not saying don't have a drink because I still go out and enjoy myself now, but I'm not saying or people do like drugs or whatever. It's that's not a form of self-love. That's just flushing away how you're feeling. It's neglecting yourself pretty much. Or you're doing something that doesn't feel aligned, like hanging out with certain people or forcing yourself to do things you don't want. You're putting a lot of effort into that. You're not putting in the effort to love yourself, and that's why people don't love themselves. Now, what's the empowering thing I've realized about that? That you have the opportunity to put the effort in to love yourself. How powerful is that? People love to jump on a story these days. And if you're in a story, I'm just going to call you out for it because I've had to call myself out for it. I'd expect any coach I work with to call me out for my own rubbish as well. People love to be in the story of, well, I can't love myself because this happened to me. I can't love myself because this happened to me. It's all a story. It's all this kind of victim mentality of like, it's hard. Now, I'm not saying there's not hard experiences. People go through traumatic things. That's why professional help, counseling, therapy, professional coaching is super, super useful. I'm totally all for that. And, if you've just gone through something very traumatic yesterday, I wouldn't expect you to be doing all these self-love practices today, of course, right? Or really going full out, right? Yeah, I found that people, like I've spoken to people who are like, yeah, they like, for example, they may have had a bad or quite a nasty relationship a few years ago. And, my heart goes out to them if they were treated badly in that way. Yeah, like a few years later, they're like, well, I can't love myself because I was treated badly in my last relationship. Maybe it's time to change the story. Maybe it's time to just take the power back and start loving yourself. People love a story. It's like, well, my boss shouted at me once, so I can't love myself and I was treated really badly. I had a tough childhood. And I appreciate some people have a lot tougher childhoods than I did, right? I was pretty good. I lost a lot of people, I had a lot of grief, that kind of thing. But again, it's not about comparing, but I always appreciate people who have different stories. But I've seen people hold their story so long, and it's like, I can't love myself because, and they're defending why they want to hold on to the things that are holding them back because it's familiar. So I believe people don't love themselves enough because they do not put in the effort or they're not following the right processes for them. So I'm going to go into that today and how we can do that a little bit, or how you can do that. Does it help you though, being in the story of like, I can't love myself? Probably not, because that's just a belief you're creating over and over again in your head. And I've totally been guilty of that. I'm like, well, this happened to me, like, oh, I got dumped, or like, oh, I didn't get the job, or I just keep missing out on job opportunities, or all this technology issues, and it's just life's really hard, and it's really hard to love me. Like, I've totally been that, right? And it just doesn't help. So let's dive into some tips on how you can put effort into loving yourself. And I also put this in a comment yesterday. And again, I'm the kind of person that doesn't worry when I say stuff on Zoom if I believe it's my truth, even if people don't like it. And usually I'm around the kind of people who understand it and take it well. I said this, like, the leaders of the call asked us to share something we want to celebrate awesome about us. And I jumped in because I practiced this over and over again. And I put this: if you don't celebrate yourself, you're being selfish. I'll say that again. If you do not celebrate yourself, you are being selfish. Why are you being selfish, Johnny? Why am I being selfish if I don't celebrate myself? Maybe that comes across as arrogant or cocky. And we're not saying do it in an arrogant or cocky way. By not loving yourself, by not celebrating yourself, you're dragging yourself down, and therefore you can't be a great impact as you could to other people around you. So therefore, in my view, that's selfish, and I've been guilty of that. When I've not loved myself, not looked after myself, and really hammered on my psychology, I've not been the best person I could. When I started doing that, do you know what happened? I started coaching people, getting results from them, started being a good influence for other people. People saw what I was doing, and it raised them up. If I didn't do that work on me, I would be selfish. If I didn't celebrate what the greatness within me, I would be selfish. So realize when you're not working on your self-love, it's not just you're impacting, it's other people around you as well, or possible people you could be helping. Obviously, we're not talking about giving from an empty glass. We're talking about filling up your glass first, right? And then being able to be more of who you are. So the first tip I want to give you is make an intention to love yourself. That's where everything starts, an intention. I am going to commit to loving myself no matter what today. And of course, usually when we make intentions, don't be surprised if things really hit you hard, like maybe someone complaining about a bit of work you did, maybe someone saying something horrible to you, because that's kind of what I've realized the universe does a little bit. If you're into that whole kind of like spiritual side, it likes to throw out things when you make an intention. I'm going to live in a place of love today. I guarantee, like within the first day, or if not the first 2 days, that someone is either, I'm going to see something online that I'll be like, oh, okay, interesting test, or someone's going to say something that I disagree with, right? Or a little bit offensive. So make an intention and stick that intention is the first one. The second one, find a practice of something that serves you. Self-love is like, people talk about it, they're like, you need to do this, this, and this, you need to do this and this. Find what feels good for you. That's what I would say. So you could do like some breath work, you could do journaling, you could do meditation. There's all these different practices you can do. I would say find a practice that serves you very, very well, that feels good for you, and keep it very simple to start off with. The third one, learn from people who do love themselves. Very simple one. Like, it speeds up success so quickly. And what I did, I remember when I really struggled with it, is actually hired a mentor who specialised in it. And again, like, she's an amazing woman, still to this day, still now and then speak to her. I've had different coaches for what I've needed in my life over time. But like, you know, she had a few skills, but overall, it was just like she was able to love herself and really work on it really well. And I learned a lot from her. So you don't have to necessarily hire a coach or mentor. They highly, highly advise it. But like, read books, listen to people who really, really are loving themselves, and actually understand what their beliefs are, what they do for themselves, and just start taking note of that and see how you can incorporate it into your life as well. Now, I've got a final point I think will be really useful for you, and I want to end off with. I want to mention again, though, if you want to connect me more on social media, you can find my links in the show notes below. The final one I want to end with is give yourself a 21-day challenge of self-love. That's a really good thing I found, like giving a little bit of a challenge. Get other people on board if you can, even if it's just one other person. Give yourself like, I'm going to do this act, these acts of self-love. Remember, keep it relevant and good for you, and keep it very simple. Every day for 21 days, like maybe what you love more than anything, just going for a nice walk in nature, and that feels really good for you. Maybe you really like to feel a breath work. Maybe you really like a certain healthy kind of food, right? that you can eat and treat yourself through these 21 days, right? Give yourself a 21-day challenge of self-love and start logging your feelings. That's really important, to make sure you're logging what's coming up and your findings and your feelings, because that will suggest to you that this is a good thing to do. The more you can evidence positively that doing something is good for you, the more your brain's going to take note and want to do more of it. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here, and remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.